Welcome back to Behind the Print podcast, where we feature industry leaders and uncover the creative minds and their businesses within the world of professional printing. Our mission is to provide you with inspiring, actionable resources that elevate your business projects and accelerate your journey to excellence in profit and print. Today's episode is Charged Up and Printed Out, and I'm here today with Athletic Director at Northwood High School in North Carolina, Coach Camron Vernon.
Hi, thanks for having me. Super
Of
excited to be here.
Of course, yeah, we're so glad to have you. To get started, can you just tell me a little bit about Northwood High School athletics and what kinds of programs do you oversee and who are the students and families you serve?
Yeah, so we have a very diverse group of students here in Northwood. We have a little over 600 kids, grades 9 through 12. We offer about, I think the number is now 28 varsity sports throughout the season. And out of the 600 and so kids, I would say anywhere from 275 to 300 kids participate in some form of athletics at our high school.
That's quite a few kids. And what are some of the common challenges or goals you see those student athletes facing, and how does your department help support them?
Goal, some common challenges. I think, just balancing school, social life, athletics. High school, it's a little more challenging time commitment. A student needs to be disciplined in order to handle the athletic as well as academic requirements while also trying to balance their social life and at home. So that's probably the biggest thing for our kids is just balance all those responsibilities they have nowadays in the high school years.
Yeah, for sure. Agree with you. And you've been leading the Northwood athletics team for over 14 years. What do you think makes your leadership style or program structure unique compared to other schools?
That's a great question. So in those 14 years, for about 7 or 8, I actually shared this position with a colleague of mine. And recently we built a new school in our district, which took away some of those students. We used to have about 1,400 students in 2019. Now we're down to 600 with the
Right.
new school opening. But so what makes us unique since I've been here in the role in full time by myself, I try to stress to our kids and to our coaches and families that athletically, I really don't care about what the scoreboard says. My goals for our students is to control what they can control, which is their attitude and their effort. And I think that if they come into every contest or game or practice or anything in life, and if they control their attitude and they have a positive attitude, try their best, give 110%, I think regardless of the outcome, they can hold their head high when they leave the event, the sporting event, the classroom, whatever that is, and be proud of themselves. And that's my goal. I just want kids to give their best, have a great attitude, winning or losing, they'll be fine.
For sure. Enjoy the sport and be happy. I love it. So, what is a milestone or moment that really stands out to you as a proud chapter in your time at Northwood?
Honestly, I think there's many milestones, but I think that the most exciting is when we get to see our kids when they're seniors and they announce where they're going to college.
Yeah.
Not even college, what their plans are after high school, because there's a lot of
Right.
kids going into the workforce nowadays. There's a lot of
Mhm.
kids going to trade schools, community college, joining the military. And just to see them celebrate that, we're actually having it Friday night. We call it Senior Sunset. I'm sure many high schools have it. But what I started doing as an athletic director and just as a teacher and a staff member is we really do a good job of celebrating our athletic signing days. But we shouldn't just celebrate, a kid going to North Carolina to play basketball like we
True.
have Drake Powell. We should also celebrate those other students. So what we do at Senior Sunset is we set up the backdrop, we set up a table, and they all do their, basically their signing day. And we tweet it out, we put it on Instagram,
How fun.
announcing their plans after the school year and celebrating them. And so those milestones for me, those are the most exciting in my profession.
For sure. You get to see them throughout the whole school year, and then getting to just experience what's next for them is probably super exciting.
That's what's unique about high school. I taught middle school and yeah, they go into high school, but to see this step from high school to real world, college, military, that's a really neat experience to go through with them.
That's awesome. So, as an athletic director, what challenges are you navigating right now?
Mhm. To be honest, parents, we love our parents, we need our parents, but just the challenges that parents have a lot of high expectations for their kids in regards to athletics. right? I feel like there's so much pressure on kids nowadays to get the scholarship or get the athletic awards that maybe they don't always perform so well because they have all this pressure on them. And, it's interesting that I'll get complaints about playing time or not getting a certain athletic award. To be honest with you, Zoe, I'm not getting any emails as to why their student didn't perform well on the health exam or the math test, right? And that's what I think we should be really focusing on, the academic side, because that's what's really going to carry them in life and after high school. But those are the challenges in just navigating parents and when their expectations maybe are a little unrealistic, to be completely honest with you. And that's hard.
Yeah, I bet that's really hard just managing the parents' expectations with what the student can actually do with their life. And so I think that's really cool what you're doing, though, supporting them in all their roles and just throughout school from sports to education. I think that's really important, especially like you were saying, because some parents are way more involved than in sports than education or vice versa. So,
Right.
yeah. Can you tell me how print has played a role in elevating your athletic programs?
Sure. So this goes back to when I was in high school. I'm not even quite sure who did it, but we had a fall, winter, and spring seasonal program for athletics where we had local businesses that sponsored. We put their advertisements in, and we had our team pictures and we had senior pictures, right, of just the seniors. And my mother still has the copies of those. And so it was, memento, something she kept. And I'll be honest, I once in a while, if I'm at her house and I see them out, I'll go through them. She has my brothers, my sisters as well. And so when I first took over this role by myself, that was one area I said, we need to bring this to our school. And I'm not the most gifted graphically, so that I was looking for somebody we could pay to do it. And to be quite honest, in North Carolina and Northwood High School, budgets could be tight. And I'd rather spend the money on kids so on the field or on the court. So I buckled down and I tried to design it, and you guys did a great job printing. And to be honest, Printing Center they had the best prices and the best quality and the quickest turnaround that I could find. I'm a big guy
Wow.
wanting to support our local economy, right? And
Right.
people that I called, to be honest, they were 4 times the price of what your product was. So I've really enjoyed the experience with working with you guys. Really, really have.
Yeah, of course. Well, we're really glad we could help you in that aspect and continue that legacy and that just memory of those books. Because, like you were saying, you go to your mom's house and look at the old ones, and there's nothing quite like that. You can kind of look back and see what happened before, and that's just really cool to see sometimes.
It's very much like a yearbook. Like our kids grab them at the games, they look through them, they want to see their pictures. They're looking at them together. The parents, at the ticket table, we don't charge for them. They just come and grab them as they please. Parents grab them, grandparents look through them, how great it is. And I'm really proud because I believe we're one of the very few schools in our area that do this. And so I always enjoy hearing the other parents and attendees from another school say, "We don't have this. We need to show so and so this." And like, yeah, feel free. I'll be glad to share my template with them. So, yeah.
For sure. So, for someone stepping into a role like yours, what advice would you offer?
Oh, in a role like this, as an athletic director, you have to truly love it. You are here throughout the school year. Spring is an absolute beast with the weather and with the number of teams that play here in North Carolina. I don't know if it's the same in Montana. You have to have a very supportive family. So, I mean, I say all those things that you can't do it for the money because it's not for the money. You're doing it for the kids, and you have to truly enjoy the job because you are here more than any administrator is, more than any school board member is. It's you and your athletic trainer, to be honest with you, if you have one, who are here constantly supporting these student athletes. So you have to love it. If you're married and you have children, they will suffer. I'm just going to be honest. I have 3 little kids. I don't see them as nearly as much as I should. I'm probably with other people's children more than I am my own, but I have a very supportive wife. I have a supportive in-laws. I have supportive parents myself who are here locally that really pick up the slack. And now that the spring sports have calmed down, this is where I get to hopefully be a better dad, be a better husband. But there's sacrifices, is what I'm trying to say, that an athletic director is going to have to play in order to do this job and do this job right.
For sure. And I'm glad you have so many of those support systems in place to help you with your job and just everything that you're doing for the kids because you're making a huge difference in their lives, not just the school or just the athletic program. And so, yes, that's amazing. So, if you weren't at work, no schedules, no practices, no paperwork, and you had the day completely free to spend however you'd like, what would you be doing?
I've really gotten this travel bug. So if money wasn't an issue too, I would really like to go travel with my family. We are fortunate. My mom, my sister and her family, my brother, and my whole family in July, we're all going to Ireland for 10 days. Yeah. So
Oh my
our
gosh.
family is Irish. We it's a long story, but I met somebody in Ireland a few years ago when I was in a trip in Paris. But anyway, she's doing our genealogy for us, so we're going to be in some areas where we can trace back where the Sullivan family name was. So I think that's gonna be a cool experience with my family. So if I could do anything, travel, see the world with my family and loved ones.
Yes, that Ireland trip is going to be
Yeah,
amazing.
sure.
So, finally, where can our listeners go to connect with Northwood Athletics?
Well, if you wanted to visit what we have going on at Northwood, you can go to www.northwoodathletics.net. That is our school website. If you have any questions, our contact information is on there. You can see our sports schedules and our Instagram page at Charger Athletes has all of our game day posts, our celebrations of students, and you can visit that site, and that's a really good place to see what's going on at our high school.
Cool. Well, you guys heard him. Charger Athletics on social media and northwoodathletics.net. But that's a wrap on another episode of Behind the Print podcast. Thanks to our listeners for joining us as we have explored the artistry and innovation of the printing world. Remember, having a strong vision, building the right strategy, and using tools like print to amplify your message will make your brand stand out from the crowd. And if you've enjoyed today's episode, be sure to stop by printingcenterusa.com and get yourself a free sample pack to share with your fellow business enthusiasts. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying and remember, there's always more to discover behind the print.